Hi guys, welcome back to Real Talk with your host, Kristen Victorian. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in with the economy. So Governor Greg Abbott actually commented on the tariff situation with Trump, and he said that when we look at Trump's first term, he did the same thing. He had the same plan, the same tactic of the tariffs against the other countries. Now, what he said was it actually benefited our economy, especially in Texas, because Texas is one of the largest export states in the nation. So it really did well for our economy. And he's saying that he trusted. He trusts that Trump knows exactly what he's doing because, again, what we're seeing now is kind of just a continuance of what happened in Trump's initial term. So as far as that is concerned, I know a lot of people were kind of concerned that this was going to go left and very quickly at that. Now, I will personally say I'm neither here nor there on that. I am just going to pay attention and see how this all unfolds. Okay, it's a very interesting time. I will say that. Definitely very interesting. A lot of things are happening. Now, I did want to go into very quickly. I wanted to get into the various markets in and around major cities. Now, in my last episode, I did mention that downtown Austin specifically was in a seller's market. Now, I can say for us real estate professionals, we are typically trained to see markets in a very broad and general sense. So a lot of us are saying, oh, we're in a buyer's market. And I can agree for the most part that depending on which specific areas we're speaking about, that is true. Now, again, specifically at this point in time, downtown Austin is in a seller's market. Now, I say that because it is a very saturated area due to situs. Situs is the location. Now, in anatomy, right, we're going to do a quick little Venn diagram, if you will. In anatomy, situs is the location of certain organs, okay? Now, in real estate, we are speaking on the subject property or the desired area that you want to look in. Some people kind of already know where they want to go. Some people have a general area or certain subdivisions that they're interested in and that kind of thing. Now, downtown Austin is a very hot market right now. So when I personally approach this, I kind of actually look at that specific area. So when I'm working with a client, before I go into, oh, we're in a buyer's market or we're in a seller's market, I actually want to observe the area that they are interested in specifically, right? It's very easy for us to get into kind of like a script, right? So when we're speaking to people, when we're presenting, when we're doing certain things, it's very easy for us to say, well, if I just approach it like this, I have a baseline of what I want to say and how I want to say it, which is not a bad idea. But what you have to remember is you want to be specific and precise when you are delivering information. So just saying overall we are in a buyer's market or we are in a seller's market is insufficient. It is not us exercising our due diligence. Again, I'm not going to fault agents for that because even myself, we are trained, and even when we have our meetings, we are saying in a broad general sense, oh, we are in a seller's market, we are in a buyer's market. But specifically, what are we talking about? Where does this apply, right? Where all of Austin and the surrounding areas are not in buyer's markets. Now, again, overall, yes, the market has slowed down some since last year because interest rates did go up. However, in certain areas like, say, downtown Austin, from what I have found at this particular time, it is actually in a seller's market. What I am experiencing is we're running into multiple offer situations. So we go and we say, oh my gosh, this is the one, this is the home that we're going to go ahead and write this offer on. Great, love that, amazing. Okay, but they already have a couple of offers on this home. Okay, not to worry. We have looked at 10 homes. Let's just go to the number 2 on our list. Okay, so you like number 1. Number 1 has 2 offers. Let's go to your number 2. Okay, this was the number 2 that you liked the best. This one also has an offer on this home. Okay. All right. So these sellers actually have options, right? In this particular area, they have options. So we want to be mindful of that because when it comes to how we're going to approach our offer, that makes all the difference because it again, depends on whom has the leverage and whom has the leg up. If we were in fact in a buyer's market, then you could be a little bit more conservative with your offer, right? But if we're in a seller's market, then we don't want to toe that line too much. We want to try to be as realistic as possible when it comes to approaching what we're going to offer. That's why it's important to specifically know for the area, what market are we in? And unfortunately, it is kind of hard to tell until you actually dibble dabble and get into it, right? Now, if you're well connected and you have friends in the industry that can tell you, oh, I'm in this area, and from what I've seen in this area, this is where we're at, right? Vice versa. It just depends, guys, but you actually have to go the extra mile and inquire on that particular area. Like, are we in a seller's market here? Are we in a buyer's market? Or is that just in general, overall, it's a buyer's market? That's important, guys. It's really, really important. Okay? Now, the next thing that I wanted to say is I typically focus really, really heavily on our buyers, and I don't necessarily pay a lot of attention or give a lot of love to sellers. And what I want you guys to keep in mind is a lot of the advice that I am giving you guys, and even just speaking specifically on buyers, right? This also applies to sellers as well. What do I mean? Excellent question. Now, when it comes to my buyers, I always talk about floors and ceilings. That applies to sellers as well. Of course, as a seller, you have a range of what you believe your house is estimated to be worth, right? So with that range, that is going to be the precedent for our floor and our ceiling. Now, the floor is the absolute lowest offer that we would even entertain, right? Again, knowing what market we're in really helps with that. But it is the lowest offer that we are willing to entertain. Now, the ceiling, of course, is what we're looking to get. This is going to be our out of the gate. This is our asking price because this is what we believe our home is worth based on the appraisal, based on the information or the equity in your home, what have you. This is where we are pricing our highest and best. So we're going to come out of the gate with our highest and best. This is what we're asking for. This is our ceiling, right? The floor is the lowest that we can go. Now, we do know that there are several factors that can affect whether or not you're going to have to be more lenient on what you're asking for. You're going to, again, have to be more realistic. If your home has been listed for 2-3 months, now we know that we're going to be inching further from our ceiling and a bit closer to our floor because we have to be realistic. We have that information available, right, for the public. So they know, okay, this home has been sitting on the market for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. People's first assumption when it comes to seeing that information is, oh, this home must be overpriced. That's the number one. Number two is, this home must have some major defects. There is something going on with this property, which again would also go back into number one, that is just not worth it to people. Why has this home been sitting on the market for 6 months? These are thoughts that are going through buyers' minds of the people who are prospective buyers for your home. When they're looking at your home, they're looking at this listing and they're like, okay, maybe. Then they go and they look a bit more and they look at, different factors. They're going to start asking questions and unfortunately drawing conclusions. So the way to get ahead of that is to watch the market, watch the listing, and again, adjust it accordingly. It all just depends on, number one, the timing, and number two, the preparation of the agent and the seller in the situation. Okay, guys? So again, that is one example of whenever I'm speaking to buyers and I'm giving out advice, this is something that is going to just apply all across the board. This is not something that is specifically only for buyers, but I do apologize, guys, because it's the way that I deliver it and it's the way that I frame it. Okay, guys? So for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and cut it here. I did want to say, guys, I appreciate the support and I apologize again for my tardiness. As of late, I have been under the weather and I have been super busy, guys. But again, I absolutely adore you. I appreciate all of the love and support. And I am going to go ahead and give you some motivation before giving you a quick scripture from my notes. Okay? So the word that I want to leave you with is, you are probably your number one critic. You are probably the number one person who just can't exactly see how impactful you are. You never know who is watching, and you never know who is listening. Okay, now this is the same conversation that I've had with my own children. Okay, it is not important to put on a show for other people. It is, however, important that who you are is genuinely, really, and truly who you are through and through. Why? Because people are always watching and people are always listening. And more than not, people are also looking for inspiration. Okay, so you would be surprised by who is watching you, who is listening to you, who sees you as inspiration or even maybe sometimes competition. You just never know, guys. But the point is, you have to keep going. You have to celebrate the small wins in addition to the big wins. You cannot be too hard on yourself. You cannot be someone who looks at adversity and gets intimidated or feels away. No. Psychology dictates that if I am good to me, then I will be good to you. If I am patient with myself, then I will be patient with you. If I come to you and I see you doing something and I offer negativity and I am just not even constructively, just criticizing you, I come out of the gate and I'm criticizing you and I'm nitpicking, picking, and it's because you represent everything that I am not. You represent everything that I hope to be one day. Okay? So when faced with adversity, you learn from it. You listen quietly and calmly. You take notes, you observe, and then you go from there. Okay? Now, I'm going to get my notes. We're going to get into the scripture. Okay? I will instruct and teach you in the way you should go. I will guide you with my eye. Psalm 32:8. This is one of my favorite books in the Bible, guys, because I am big on poetry, and Psalm to me is just a big book of poems. I love it, guys. The literary devices always do it for me. So, again, my name is Kristen Victorian. If I haven't covered something that you would like to know, or if I didn't go in depth quite enough, please let me know. And as per usual, I will go ahead and be mindful enough to add it to the next episode. Thanks again for watching Real Talk with your host, Kristen Victorian. Thanks.